He has just shown this tremendous perseverance, and his perseverance has really paid off. That, and he has an incredible amount of confidence.
John Lavelle Starks, born August 10, 1965. The Knicks haven't won an NBA championship since 1973. That's a few months more than 50 years ago. Nevertheless, they've always been one of the most valuable franchises in sports history, currently ranked the second most valuable team in 2022 and 2023. Their popularity and value is mostly hinged to their New York City location, but the fact still remains you can't talk about NBA history and not have someone ask, well, how about them Knicks? This makes anything they do, or let's face it, don't do, a media story, and anyone who plays for them instantly raises their profile and adds their name to one of the greatest profiles in sports. Well, today's feature happens to be one of the more popular and beloved Knicks in history. One could even say John Starks is the face of what it means to be a Knick.
Back up a minute. You know what a loser is? They don't even try.
We're taking it all the way!
No, not a loser, but in toughness and heart, the will to keep fighting even among all the distractions, enthusiasm, a bit of arrogance, and focus it takes to play when everything is scrutinized. Dare I say, if Michael Jordan wasn't in the same era as those 90s Knicks, their history may be talked about a lot different than it is today. John Starks in his prime was one of the best shooting guards of the 90s. He had futuristic moves, a glide to the rim, and got excited at the chance to perform one of his body-catching dunks. Hopefully this story isn't already too biased, because John Starks is my favorite Knick of all time. What I liked most is that he was fearless. He challenged anyone, whether on a basketball move or if things got too physical. He was also the first ever NBA player to hit 200 or more threes in a season, a record now held by Steph Curry. None of this would have ever happened if it wasn't for Patrick Ewing. John Starks went undrafted in the 1988 NBA draft and bounced around a bit, including 36 games with the Warriors and the next few years other professional leagues. Before giving up, he decided on one more tryout, and the Knicks was the only team that called him in. Starks had to prove himself, and the only way he knew how was straight out of what they tell you to do if you go to prison. Attack the biggest guy in the room for respect. Ewing was on the platter early in training camp, but wouldn't go that easily. On his attempt, Ewing threw Starks down after he tried to dunk on him and injured John's knee. As a blessing in disguise, the rule then was you couldn't release a player if he's still injured by December's end. Starks was, because of the hard foul, and bought himself some time to prove to the team he could be a great asset, and that he was for the next 8 years, leading to an all-star career that almost didn't happen. 3 growth spurts that created a Knick legend. Salute to J Graham 1985 for this request. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. John Starks was a 6'5" shooting guard from Tulsa, Oklahoma that didn't initially give himself the best chance at a start on his basketball journey, beginning with bad grades and disciplinary reasons as to why it took until his final high school year to see the floor for the basketball team. With not enough proven on that level, he enrolled at Rogers State College in 1984 and played on the backup squad that only saw the floor if a player was injured or suspended. But Starks would be the one suspended for burglary of another student's dorm room and had to transfer to North Oklahoma College. He sat in jail 5 days during the spring and hit the floor come fall, but soon after left that school too after being caught smoking weed in the dorm. He worked odd jobs until fleeing once again to Tulsa Junior College, where a coach spotted him during intramurals and invited him to the team. After an outstanding year, he transferred for the final time to Oklahoma State, where he averaged 15 points, nearly 5 rebounds and assists, and shot 38% from 3. But again, not enough proven, causing Starks to go undrafted in the upcoming NBA draft. Spurt number 1, willing himself a spot. As you can already see, John Starks' journey is perfect representation of what it means to not take no for an answer. Through all he went through in his high school years and college, he fought through his own mistakes and maturity lapses and performed when it was time. After going undrafted, and for good reason, as many players suffer the same fate when they haven't done enough on previous levels to even be considered a draft prospect. Starks continued working until he found a sweet spot with the Knicks. But first, the Golden State Warriors, who gave Starks an outside shot at making the team, seeing as they just drafted Mitch Richmond in the same draft 5th overall and planned on playing him heavy minutes. Mitch wound up winning Rookie of the Year and having a Hall of Fame career. Starks lasted just 36 games until July 1989 when the team renounced their free agent exception rights to his contract. He became a free agent and lost in different leagues like the CBA and WBL for 2 years. In 1990, at 25 years old, Starks' legend began with that fateful Knick practice where a hard Ewing foul was the thin line that saved him from being cut. He played 61 games his first year, but showed promise on defense and instantly became a crowd favorite. The next season, 91-92, Starks upped his production across the board and participated in the All-Star Weekend Slam Dunk Contest. 92-93 saw a complete transformation of John Starks as he averaged 17 points a game off the bench and made a name for himself that season's playoff when he first headbutted Reggie Miller in the first round and his team won the series, sending a message John Starks and the Knicks were here to compete. During the Eastern Conference Finals, he cemented himself in Knick and NBA history, dunking over Michael Jordan and Horace Grant that stamped his name and career stay on the Knicks. All this was because he believed and stayed persistent, willing his opportunity. Spurt number 2, not satisfied. It's one thing to get to the destination one desires, but it takes a little bit more from a different kind of person to get there, then want to take it further by becoming something special. John Starks was that for the Knicks when he made the All-Star team for the 93-94 season. Here goes a guy 28 years old, a complete afterthought in high school, no film to speak of, disruptive college career where he went to jail of all things, 4 different schools and still undrafted, to becoming an all-star and recognized as one of the best players in the league that year. To top that, Starks helped his team all the way to the NBA Finals, defeating the Nets, Bulls, and Pacers to make their first finals since they won it all in 1973. There, they took the Rockets to a Game 7. Starks had a big game 2 with 19 points, 9 assists, and 3 big threes to lead the Knicks to their first win. Game 3 would be rule-changing after in the final moments with the Knicks down 3, Starks is fouled shooting a 3, but only given 2 shots as fouls on 3s only awarded 2 shots at the time. He made both, but the Rockets still won the game, and by the next year, the current rule of 3 shots on 3-point attempts was changed. After another spectacular individual performance in Game 6 with 27 points, 8 assists, and 5 threes and a Knick 2-point loss, tying the series at 3 games apiece, Starks had his worst game as a Knick in Game 7. He went 2 for 18, 0 for 11 from 3, and had 5 turnovers. The Knicks lost that series and their last real shot at a championship in Starks' Knicks career. Many would have been happy just playing for the Knicks, but Starks used that opportunity and made a name for himself as one of the best Knicks to ever do it. Spurt number 3, staying the course. All wasn't sweet for John Starks, who would be tested again, this time in the form of younger, better players at his position added to the team and a coach he didn't have such great history with, sending him to the bench. The latter happened in 1995 when the Knicks hired Starks' former coach in Golden State, Don Nelson, who rarely used Starks his rookie year and didn't see much use in him once again. Starks voiced his displeasure with the coach misusing him and his coaching style, which sank him deeper on the bench until Nelson was fired mid-season. Starks played well after the change, but dealt with the addition of Allen Houston from 96-97 on, who took the starting shooting guard spot. All John Starks did was win the NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 1997. He stayed the course through his prime of 36 years old, providing steady play for 3 more teams after the Knicks traded him in 1999. He last played in 2002 and had a 13-year career. One, you can't mention the Knicks and not include their 90s All-Star John Starks. All in all, John Starks never won a championship, but had some of the greatest moments battling throughout the competitive 90s/Eastern Conference and was a standout player. He was never supposed to even make his high school team. Now he's remembered forever as one of the greatest Knicks in NBA history. Salute to John Starks. For these reasons, his career hit an insane growth spurt. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.